We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
You have fun. Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
Hi, I'm Salesman Jim. Are you getting tired of this?
I'm tired of the same Christmas movies every year. This is getting boring.
Well, friend, I have something for you. Kid Kringle live this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. at the Marquet Cultural Arts Theater. A unique musical about Kid Kringle, Santa Claus's younger brother. Watch as he goes on an adventure to understand the naughty list a little better.
Sounds great. How do I get my tickets?
You can get your tickets at the Marquet box office on Main Street for only $15. Or if you're under 18, you can get in for free simply by calling the number 740-577-3848. That's 740-577-3848.
Thank you, Salesman Jim. I'm gonna watch all 4 showing.
But don't thank me. Thank the Apple City Players and the amazing youth cast.
Well, there you go. Hey, how are you doing, Dylan?
Good, how are you?
Good. Now, did you do that video?
Yes, I did.
You goofballs. So you guys have way too much fun at school, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty fun doing all that.
Well, the reason we played that extra little spot today was because Kid Kringle is coming to the Marquee this weekend, and it is directed by our very own Dylan. Yay! So tell us a little bit about talk about the phone number because it was a little bit wrong on the thing.
I don't actually remember the phone number off the top of my head, but the one that was typed on screen is correct, and the one he said was incorrect. You got them mixed up.
You didn't crack the whip all that well, did you? No. Well, good job. We're so glad that you did that. But can you tell everyone how they can come see Kid Kringle this weekend while you're here?
Yeah, you can just go to the box office and order your tickets in person, or you can call online. Well, call and order ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And if you call and order ahead and you're someone under 18 or you're buying for someone under 18, you get them for free.
That's exactly right. Thanks to our good friend Nia Henry. So we want to thank that. She sponsored all of those youth tickets. So thank you to Nia for that. So the Kid Kringle production will be at the Marquee this weekend. What are the times?
7:30 on Saturday and 3 p.m. on Sunday.
Okay. So 7:30 and 3. And then next weekend, the same, right?
I think it's 7 and 3.
Okay.
We had to alter it because of the Christmas parade.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But we will be in the Christmas parade now.
You will be. That's so fun. And that's this coming weekend, right?
Yep. This
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah. So the cast of Kid Kringle at the Marquee, all youth run, which is really, really cool. I mean, you had some adult advisors, but you all did it yourselves for the most part.
Yeah, everything is all youth run except for some of the tech booth, which is mostly youth, but we do have an adult or two up there.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
What?
Somebody's got a birthday.
Somebody's. You didn't think we knew, did you, Dylan?
No, I did not.
Today is Dylan's 18th birthday.
A personalized card from Brittany. I take it, Brittany.
And make sure he signs up for
And looky here.
I know, right? Did
Every kid likes a balloon.
Thanks. Thank you, guys.
We were messing with you.
Oh, Dylan can turn red.
He can. Look at that. It is his 18th birthday. Our Dylan's all growing up on us, and we wish you the happiest of birthdays. And we really just were messing with you and wanted you to be over here on this side of the camera so that we can embarrass you, because that's what we do here. But what do you have planned for your birthday?
I'm gonna go to Kid Kringle practice.
Hey, there you go. See, that's the grown-up adult thing to do, right?
I guess so.
So we have cupcakes. We're having a birthday celebration here. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you.
Yay, Dylan! Yes, welcome to adulthood. Now you get to, sign up for the selective services, Pete said, and
There's no turning back.
yeah, it's so much fun. Adulting. Do you feel any different today?
I mean, a little. Just kind of like, now I have to pay for doctor stuff.
Dang, this adulting thing. It's just no fun. No, you're doing great.
This card though, that is hilarious.
It's well, you can show it on your way through.
Yeah, that's
So Brittany comes up with
Corbin.
some pretty funny cards around here.
That is hilarious.
So yeah, now you're part of the team because you've been embarrassed like the rest of us. How's that?
That's nice, thank you.
Hang around, we'll do it again.
Yeah, another year we'll do it again. You can also thank your mother for telling me that it was your birthday, and so that was part
I was
of the.
everyone found out.
Oh, it's a small town. We all know these things, and your mother told me too.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll hop off here because Pete's here, and I want to make sure the audio is working.
Okay. Well, happy birthday, Dylan.
Thank you.
Take your cupcake and go. That's very adult of him that he's thinking, I better get off of here and make sure everything's working properly. It is working. Woohoo!
All right.
Very good. Well, our sweet.
A lollipop.
It is.
I'm just gonna pop this on the screen. real quick.
Yes. Show the card. That's hilarious, you guys.
I believe that they can be created and maybe even sold here. As long as we're brought that subject up.
I know. I think so. Absolutely. And thanks to Brittany for that. Sweet James is taking a little morning off as he has been working a lot of nights lately. So not that you don't do that as well, but so Pete is here and we're going to do some of the news. And boy, that's a pretty big stack, Pete.
Yes, I know. Well, it's
Tis the season.
Yes, it is the season. It's a mixed bag. We've got some very bad. We've got some very good. but
Okay.
That's the news for you.
It is. And you just take the good with the bad, right?
Exactly. And we will start off with the very bad. We had, unfortunately, yesterday near MacArthur, a very, very tragic fire. Early morning hours yesterday. It took the life of a toddler. I'm still tracking the specific information on that with the MacArthur Fire Department. But what I do know, and what I can say here on Main Street TV, is that the call came in about 6:50 a.m. yesterday. It was at a residence in Elk Township, family-type dwelling.
Okay.
And a toddler, don't know a name, don't know an age, don't know a sex, but a toddler, young child, perished in that fire. And it was despite the efforts of many people to try to put out the fire and save the child. The MacArthur Fire Department was the main respondent, but the Hamden Fire Department, the Zaleski Fire Department, Vinton County EMS, of course, there, Vinton County EMA, Vinton County Sheriff's Office, the State Fire Marshal's Office is involved in that, as there was a fatality. The United Way of Vinton County, Melissa Nickel-Hammond, of course, coordinates that.
Sure.
They've been contacted, and they're involved as well in the recovery efforts, I'm sure, and also Hopewell Health Centers. But once again, we do know the death of a young child involved this. There's been there hasn't been any official information put out yet. I'm in the process of tracking that down. I just was trying to do that just before we went on the air here. If we, in addition to the basic news information, We also hope to get some information about maybe how that
How to
family
help.
how that family can be helped, because
Yeah.
obviously I understand a lot lost in the fire on the material side as well as
Okay.
the human loss. And, nothing can compensate for the human loss, but I'm sure there's ways that the community can band together and help that family.
Sure.
So we'll hopefully be able to get more information on that and share that with our audiences on the radio, on our website and Facebook, and of course in our print edition on Saturday. So, very, very sorry, when those things happen.
Yeah,
And
that's not the phone call you ever hope to get.
no, and as the weather turns colder,
Yes.
and we're nearing winter, you're going to have more fires, unfortunately. Not to say that this had anything to do with heating or a fireplace or anything, but because of heating and keeping houses and trailers and like that warm, there is a greater chance for fires like that.
There is. And also, as you have your gas furnaces and things, please consider buying those carbon monoxide detectors and all of the things that you can do, and the smoke detectors. They make little combo ones now to protect you and your loved ones in the home.
The smoke alarms and all like that. Of course, we had that fire in Wellston a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Where a young man, school age, was able to get out of that burning house.
Yes.
And that was, according to the Wellston Fire Department, a smoke detector may have helped
Correct.
save his life, or at least him from having any injury, because it did alert him. He happened to be asleep when that happened, and
Yes.
we were told. So anyway, that's of course the big story that we're tracking down, and we'll be sharing more information just as soon as we get it. Elsewhere in the news, Jennifer, on Tuesday evening, this took place at 5 p.m. down at the Jackson Middle School auditorium. We have these proposed projects that are in the pipeline for solar generating
Yes.
facilities. It's all over the place in our country, in our state, and even in our region, in our county.
They're
Maybe
popping up everywhere.
maybe at least 3 proposed projects that I know of, maybe 4. But the one that is kind of at the head of the column is the Dixon Run Solar Project
Yes.
in Bloomfield Township, not too far from the A&A truck stop off Luther Jones Road. The Ohio Power Siting Board, which is the state agency, I think it's part of the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio. They're the ones that make an ultimate decision whether a certificate is issued that allows that project to happen. And the Dixon Run Solar Project has reached that point where they are nearing decision time. What happened at the Jackson Middle School auditorium at 5 o'clock on Tuesday, and the hearing went about 45 minutes, was a public hearing to allow involved parties, members of the public, landowners out that way, to have their say.
Sure.
That testimony will become part of the evidence in an evidentiary hearing that will be held on December, let's see when that is. It will be on December the 14th up in Columbus at the Public Utilities Commission office. And that is when the board for the Ohio Power Siting Board will examine the testimony, listen to the testimony over again. There's written testimony too that there can be. There's a lot of work that the staff has done of the Ohio Power Siting Board in researching this. And that is when they will review all that evidence. They won't probably make a decision at that hearing, but that is when it is out on the table when they're considering all angles of this, of whether to approve or not.
Okay.
But at the public hearing, there were 7 persons that testified.
Okay.
I was there to cover that. There were 3 who testified in favor of the project, 4 who were against. The 4 persons who were against are all residents or landowners out there where the solar project is. Just a little bit of background information. Sun Energy One is a North Carolina-based company that wants to build this solar power generating facility. They have established a limited liability company called Dixon Run Solar. They are the actual applicant. This would be a 140 megawatt solar power generating facility on a 2,085 acre site in Bloomfield Township. Now, there's no structures or anything that are on that land. There's an agreement with it's on private land, it's agreement with the landowners to use this land for the solar generating facility.
Okay.
There are nearby property owners and residents, and they are the ones who are concerned. I guess the bottom line of the opponents would be, they are concerned about the impacts on the land out there. They're concerned about their property values.
Sure.
They're concerned about what they're going to see when they look out the window.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. On the other side, the proponents there were two representatives who were not local, but they represented unions where construction workers from those unions would be employed. There would be a lot of people out there working during
Yes.
the construction period, which would be lengthy. And these are good union jobs. And those two men who testified said that this would be, an economic boom, not only economic boon, not only to the people who would gain employment during this project, some may be local, but also, through the area, because you have people working out there, buying things and all like that.
Kind of like the pipeline when it,
Right, exactly,
went through.
which was that was a lot of activity that was going on, especially there in the southern part of the county.
Yeah.
But there would not be that many people employed once it is built. If it is approved, I think 11 maybe, but they would be permanent jobs,
Right.
and they would be
And good paying jobs, I've heard.
They would go to probably, or it would be open to local persons. Upper management would probably be somebody that Sun Energy would bring in that knows how, to run that solar generating facility.
Right.
But anyway, I was told by the administrative judge who was there for the public hearing that the testimony is very much an important part of what they consider as evidence when they have this evidentiary hearing that's going to be on December the 14th.
Gotcha.
Now, there were public officials that were present. None of them chose to testify one way or the other. Bloomfield Township trustees, or at least a couple of them, were there. Jackson County Commissioner John Hensler was there.
Okay.
None of them testified, pro or con. However, I was told by Commissioner Hensler the next day when I asked for the commissioner's position, he personally is very much for the project, feels that, the land, all or most of it is reclaimed strip mine land. It can't be used for a whole lot else.
For a lot of other, you can't build anything on it really. Like structures, can you?
Well, now that wasn't really said.
Like big structures.
But that may be, there's certainly limitations.
Yeah.
I know when you're on reclaimed strip mine land, even though, it may look like, there never was any mining there at all. But he pointed out, and this is a factor, you're talking about a lot of revenue that would come into different taxing entities that are involved. You've got the Oak Hill Union Local School District, because Bloomfield Township is in the Oak Hill Union Local School District.
Strangely enough, yes.
Yeah, proportionally, it's kind of like how property tax would work. When you're paying taxes on your home, a big part of it goes to the schools, but also county government is involved. Of course, the Bloomfield Township the fire department there, the trustees, township roads, and like that, they would have in lieu, what is sometimes called in lieu of tax money. But anyway, very importantly, the staff of the Ohio Power Siting Board, this would seem to be important to me, but it's not conclusive. The board is recommending approval of this project.
Okay.
They did the legwork researching it. They are handing over all their research, and I got their report. It's about like 40 some pages.
Oh my.
I've got their report, and the board is not bound by the staff's recommendation, but obviously this is people in the same agency that are saying that this project should go forward.
Okay.
Now, there are 48 conditions that are involved in there, different things that Sun Energy and Dixon Run Solar will have to do to be able to do it. But they are, the staff is saying yay, and now it's in the ball is in the court of the board itself and the administrative law judge. Not sure how many people are on that board. He told me there's no timetable on a decision. Depends on what comes out of that evidentiary hearing. I don't think there's any more testimony allowed there, but there may be things that they discuss based on testimony and other things that they have learned. And obviously they'll look at that staff report too. There is no set timetable on how soon they may make a decision, yes or no. There have been projects that have been rejected, My impression is, although I don't have any statistics, is most projects are approved.
Okay.
So, the other person who testified in favor was William C. Bill Martin, very well known local resident. He testified that this would seem to be a good use for strip mine land, to reclaim it, and so it has a positive use.
Right.
And he pointed out that that our energy future, a big part of our energy future in this country, is solar power. So let's get on board with that and let this go forward. So we will have a detailed report in our Saturday paper working on that story.
Bill.
Now, yes, there is Bill Martin who testified, and there was a gentleman that testified too, a landowner. His name was James Thomas. You have his, there he is. You can see the map there in the background. He is a resident, lives on Dixon Run Cemetery Road, which is one of the roads nearby.
Okay.
And he was just concerned once again about the impacts on the land, the impact on his property. Another resident testified too, and she is not an abutting resident, but she lives in the area, and she just felt like it's about money. The company is going to make a lot of money, she presumes. The taxing entities will get a lot of money. That's why, therefore, she said the residents aren't getting anything out of it. So, not even free electricity.
I get what she's saying.
Several brought up, why can't we at least get free electricity out of it? Because this is going to be almost in our backyard.
Right.
In some cases, maybe in their backyard.
That's what's so hard with situations like this, Pete, is you understand all sides of where people are coming from, and you can have empathy for all of that. So it's like, aren't you glad you don't have to make that decision?
Right, exactly. But anyway, the commissioners I know, or at least the president of the commissioners, John Hensler, he unqualified was in support of it when he weighed all the factors and so forth.
Okay.
And remember, this is on private land, and so there's the rights of the property owner and what they want to do with their property. So anyway, we will certainly be following that story through, and we'll have a detailed report coming out in our next edition on Saturday. A lot of sirens and activity out on State Route 32 at Five Points Road in Sauter Township. Early Tuesday evening, we had a wreck involving two pickup trucks. And predictably, a deer was involved, was a factor, because you had two pickup trucks going the same direction, one right behind the other. The pickup truck in front, which was driven by a 16-year-old boy from Jackson named Evan Williams, deer jumped out in front of him, so he slowed down. The pickup truck behind him, which was driven by Paul Wright Jr., 73 of Wellston, was right behind, swerved to try to miss the pickup truck that was slowing in front of him, and clipped the back of the pickup truck in front of him. It caused his pickup truck, Mr. Wright's pickup truck, to actually overturn.
Oh, no.
It closed the road out there. I talked to some people who passed by. They thought, oh my gosh, really bad. Mr. Wright was injured, taken to Holzer Medical Center, Jackson, but his injuries were classified as minor. The young teenage driver who was driving the lead pickup truck, he was not injured at all.
Good.
The road was closed for about an hour, and a citation was issued to Mr. Wright for following too close.
Well, that's as good an outcome as you could possibly ask
Right,
for,
and
Pete.
I don't know if you've. I know that you have driven on the rural roads around here.
Oh, yeah.
And you're always, I think, in the back of your mind, if not in the front of your mind, especially at dark, thinking, is a deer going to jump out in front of me?
It's terrifying, especially so it's hunting season this week.
Right.
Gun season, so they're really stirred up, and you're just driving, white knuckled down the road, praying that something doesn't jump out in front of you.
Right, and when I'm on a 2-lane road, particularly, but one where maybe like the Beaver Pike, where it's a little wider or whatever, I'm always worrying about a vehicle right behind me, because my instinct is going to be to slam on the brakes or swerve.
Even though they say hit the deer.
I know. Well,
you don't want to hit the deer.
I don't think you have a lot of time to make that decision. I think my instinct would be, to miss a squirrel in the road if I can.
Same. I've almost wrecked my car on standpipe a million times because a squirrel's run out in front of me, and I'm like, what? Why? What am I doing? But because you have to save it.
No, you do, and that is just an instinctive thing. I think.
It is.
just like it is, when you maybe go into a slide in the snow. I think your instinct is going to take over, not what you've been programmed to do, because they say, well, turn in the opposite direction of the slide or whatever.
Yeah.
I think I might turn the wrong way or whatever, and I know I would hit the brakes probably a little harder than I should.
Yeah, it's just how you handle that situation, but. It's rough, and just the big thing is, I think right now, if you're out on the highway, just slow down a little bit.
Right. That is the best. That is the best advice of all. Just slow down.
Stay off your phone and watch.
Right. Exactly. And of course, the patrol continues to preach. They feel that distracted driving is a big factor. Oftentimes, maybe not confirmed as a cause of some of the wrecks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we're driving and, we're glancing at the driver next to us or whatever, one passing by, you can almost see sometimes that they seem to be paying attention to something else.
When they're looking down, driving down the highway, you figure they're texting or doing something. So.
Right. Or even if they're on their phone, that's why the hands-free phone is so great.
It is.
Be used a little safer,
Yep.
a little more safely. All right. Up Vinton County Way.
You're an adult now, Dylan. You have to be a good non-texter while you're driving.
Right. Well, the way the law works, they're a little meaner on the teenagers
They are.
when they do it. That's really not fair, because adults do it too.
You're now an adult, and you get charged as an adult.
I thought we always got charged as an adult. Is it easier when you're not 18?
Yes.
Oh.
Just to let you know now that you're 18.
All right. Well, tomorrow, Jennifer, at 4:00, that is when applications will no longer be accepted for the vacant position on the Vinton County Local School Board.
Gotcha.
Remember, on November 17th, at the last school board meeting, board member Laura Martin resigned without explanation or comment. It happened after an executive session, but she did resign. She had just been elected in 2021 to a 4-year term, so she had served less than a year starting at the beginning of this year. And so now the board has 30 days from the time of her resignation to appoint a replacement, and it is up to a board vote. Remember, we have 4 members on the board left that would make that decision. Yep. There is a board meeting set for December the 20th. However, that is more than 30 days away from November 17th.
Okay.
So somehow, I think if they're going to meet to make a decision and fill that position before the 30 days are up, they're going to have to maybe schedule a meeting before December
special
the
meeting.
20th. This is just putting together all the facts that I have.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't know of another meeting other than the one on December 20th. Originally, they weren't going to meet in December at all, but they scheduled that meeting because of the situation with the vacancy. If the board is unable to make a decision or they don't take a vote, the probate juvenile judge in Vinton County will get to pick
Isn't that wild?
the replacement. And that is Bob Grillo.
Yeah.
So that's just the way the law is.
Do you know that if they have any applications?
I was told yesterday that they have 7 applications in.
So quite a few.
Right. And remember, it was advertised until December the 2nd. So, conceivably, there could be a lot more than 7.
Okay.
When a Jackson School Board position opened, when Bob Kite resigned in midterm, I believe we had like 13.
Yeah, there was a bunch of applicants.
Right, exactly. And the Jackson City Board of Education met in executive session at least twice to do interviewing, and then they did settle on Butch Moore, or rather Butch Cooper.
Yeah,
Butch Cooper to be the new board member to serve the remainder of the term. Now, in Vinton County, because of the timing of the resignation, the person who gets appointed will not serve the full expired term, which goes all the way through 2025. They will serve through 2023, and that seat will be on the general election ballot in 2023 for the remaining 2 years.
Okay.
That's because of the timing. If it had happened a little bit later, it would cover the whole term. But because there is a school board election in 2023 through 2 other seats, full term, 4 years, they can put this on the ballot and let democracy decide who sits on the Vinton County Local Board of Education rather than the 4 board members.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens there. We want to remind you, we checked just a day or 2 ago, but the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, as we have told you, is in the process of changing locations. Very important you know where the Sheriff's Office is. The sheriff's office has been in that historic building next to the courthouse. There you see it. Dylan put it up for us. Next to the courthouse for years and years. That building goes back about 150 years or more. But it's old, and they need to be in a new location, and the county has found them in a new location. It is the former site of the Vinton County Board of Developmental Disabilities. It's where their office has been. There was also other things in there that had to do with the DD, with the DD workshop and like that. They have since moved to another location. The office has either moved or is in the process of moving. The sheriff's office, the last several weeks, has been, doing transitional moving. They hope to be mainly in the new place by next Monday, December 5th. When Red Thompson Jr. checked a day or two ago, as far as the spokesman on the phone said, they expect that date to hold, December the 5th. Okay. So, the big deal, of course, is having the communications all set there by December 5th, where the dispatcher is and like that. So, but they've been, Sheriff Ryan Kane had been working on that for a while. But citizens in Vinton County should be aware. I mean, the phone number of the 911, that's all the same. But the physical location on Monday, December 5th, should be on State Route 93 North in the building that was the former site of the Vinton County Board of Developmental Disabilities, north end of MacArthur.
I have a news story, Pete.
Yes.
I got this morning. Breaking news from our Jackson County dog warden, Jennifer Hughes. Do not forget that today is December 1st. Do you know what December 1st means for the dog warden?
New dog tags.
That means dog tags for 2023 go on sale today. How do we fund our wonderful dog pound and whatever throughout our county when you need to call the dog warden? Dog tags. This is how it's funded.
Exactly.
This is how the dog pound runs. So when you call them and you need them for something, this is how they get their money.
Right. This just isn't something to put extra money in the general fund or anything like that. This is what the money is used for.
Main funding.
And we know how much good work that they do there. From dealing with our dog wardens of the past, Deborah Fout.
My goodness.
Who did such a great job for many years. Jennifer Hughes, her second in command, and now the dog warden. And so certainly worthy of support. And remember, here's the thing, the practical thing about it. If you don't get the dog tag, you're going to pay extra and be subject to a citation after that deadline.
Exactly. And the deadline is January 31st. Plus, if your dog comes up missing, it's a very easy way to for someone to find you and get your dog back to you. And a lot of times the dog doesn't even have to go to the pound to end up back at the house. So you can buy your dog tags starting today in Jackson at the commissioner's office, which is at the One Stop on South Street. You can also buy them at the auditor's office, Quick Stop Marathon gas station in Jackson, Mount Zion Animal Clinic, Animals Unlimited, Paws a While Boarding and Grooming, then in Wellston, the Detour gas station, and then Main Express in Oak Hill. So wherever you're at in the county, those are the convenient places for you to buy them. Also, and this is what I do, if you already have a dog tag, you'll get a letter in the mail, and I just go straight to the auditor's site, and you can actually just renew them online. You don't have to go anywhere, and they just mail them to you.
They've made it very convenient now to renew. It isn't like you've got to run into the dog warden or even go into the courthouse, into the auditor's office to do that.
Correct.
There's many vendors now out in the community in almost all corners of the county.
It's like one time I was at Walmart, and this beautiful, great big dog comes up to me in the Walmart parking lot. I'm like, what on earth? And it had a dog tag on. So I was able to just look up the number. I called the house. Someone answered, and they were like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. We'll be right there to get him. Came, got him. I stayed with him. It was just super easy, and that's what those things do, plus fund the pound. So it's all win-win for everybody.
Right. And what has happened, and you know this so well, Jennifer, because I know you've supported it, in the last 10 years, there's been an evolution where, the dog pound isn't the place that dogs go to die. The
Not at all.
The dog pound is the place where they go to get a second chance.
To get absolutely
through adoptions and so forth. But
100%.
right.
And our
very
pound,
very few euthanizations.
you're right. And our pound does such a good job that they have been accepted into rescue groups. So if they think that the dog might not be adopted here, they go to these rescues and work together with them. So yes, we've really come up in the world here. So please get out, do that, and support.
Right. And I know the same deal in Benton County. It is,
Yes.
I think it must be ORC, Ohio Revised Code state law, that is when the dog tags have to be sold.
Yes.
It's done on a county basis, of course. And Cindy Wall, who is the auditor in Benton County, she did put out some information, and we've had that in the paper already about the dog tags there. But you can, do it with the dog warden or in the auditor's office in Benton County. Right now, I know you can't do it online for whatever reason.
Okay.
But December 1, once again,
That's
that is
right.
today. That's the date that you can start getting your dog tags. And the clock is ticking 60 days, I guess.
Yeah.
It can be extended, but it's not automatic.
They're not going
You
to
got-
extend
you
it.
got-
I promise you.
You got plenty of time.
You have 2 months to get your dog tags. Get them. It's the right thing to do. And so there you go.
All right.
My
Okay.
preach for the day.
Okay, very good.
Step off
a very
soapbox.
good PSA there. Bark, bark.
Ruff, ruff.
Right, exactly. All right. Well, once again, in the village of Colton, Kim Milliken has been the mayor there now for 3 terms. She will be going into her last year of her her current 4-year term, and she has said that she's not going to run for re-election next year.
Yep.
But she is going to have to do some more hard work on behalf of the village in the next year. Not only, do they have, some infrastructure projects going on there, a big sanitary sewer project, which, we reported on, but in the last election, they got some bad news. They put 2 levies on the ballot.
Okay.
One, they're both renewal levies. So this is things that have been supported in the past by the taxpayers.
Sure.
They had one to support street lighting, and they had one that's called current expenses that covers a lot of things. It was the larger levy. And when the general election tallies came in on election night, there on November the 8th, it was behind by 2 votes. Now, that's
Okay.
not very many, but remember, there's not that many that are uncounted.
Not a lot of voters in Colton.
In Colton, you're talking, I think it was 43 to 45.
Oh,
But there
my.
was a chance that, with the provisional balance, the late absentees, it could swing the other way, or
Sure.
at least be close enough to recount, maybe a tie. Well, it went the wrong way. It
Uh-oh.
was actually down by 5 votes after it's not a recount, it's called the official count. That's where they count everything again from election night plus the ones that didn't get counted, bottom line.
Yep.
Anyway, because that is much more, even though it's just 5 votes, much more than 0.5% of 1%, that triggers an automatic recount.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor Milliken has accepted that the levy has lost. Well, this levy supported a
my.
lot of things in Colton, basic things in Colton. The actual income from it does not, it's 1 more year. It will go through next year. But to get ready for that, in case that levy does not pass next year, and she's going to put it on the ballot again next year, she's saying right now in the spring,
Okay.
she is presuming, because this is the way the voters voted, that they won't have that money after this year. That's when it will expire at the end of 2023, the actual revenue from the property taxes, because you were a year behind. They're already going to make cutbacks in Colton. They're cutting out any overtime, and sometimes you have that when you're snow plowing and doing other things, responding to emergencies, service things. They're only gonna be able to do snow plowing at certain places, the most busy places there in the village.
Okay.
They're only gonna have the office, the sewer and water office, the utility billing office open Monday through Thursday. They're gonna cut out Friday on that. She also said they already decided not to renew the contract with the sheriff's office for extra police protection in Colton. I want to emphasize the sheriff's office still covers Colton, but Colton had paid for some extra coverage.
Like a dedicated kind of thing.
Right, who, a deputy was there, a lot of the time
Yeah.
from their regular scheduled time. But because of all this, she says that
Oh my.
we will plow and use salt only on the main arteries. 2nd Street and Main Street are those streets. We will not go into overtime to plow roads. Salt will be used very sparingly. we're going to go light on salt to maintain salt for next year. She is presuming that it may not pass next year. If she does not run for re-election, and she said she doesn't want to put the mayor in a situation where he or she has nothing to work with. Yes, there is Kim right there. She's done honestly, a super job there in Colton. And this is another thing. You don't run to be the mayor of Colton for the money.
Right.
But Kim made a decision some time ago not to accept any money. You actually, legally, you can't do that. So she takes $1, and I think she even donates that back. But the next mayor, may want at least that token salary or whatever.
Sure.
You can't blame them for that. So all those things a factor in the operating levy losing, because it when it's labeled current expenses, you can use it for whatever you need it for. You don't waste the money, but it's broad. It's just not for street lighting. It's not just for streets. It's just not for fire department or whatever. It's for whatever they need it for. So
Right.
that was a major setback
boy.
for the village of Colton. And once again, they are going to run the levy again. I'm sure they're going to push for passage, work hard to try to get that passed and swing 7 or 8 votes. And
it could be that maybe people don't understand,
right. Well,
what they're voting on too.
And this is true too. Not to play the devil's advocate, people are pinched now.
Oh, very
with
much.
the inflation and all, and maybe if they don't have more money coming in, they're just saying, I just don't have it.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta make some money up somewhere.
Right, and they're thinking maybe that's the way to do it. But it's
Go to the grocery store.
I'm guessing, once again, surmise and speculation. I'm guessing it's more of a pocketbook thing, a personal pocketbook thing, than it is any statement about not wanting those services.
Right, absolutely.
All right. Speaking of revenue and costs and municipal government, the Oak Hill Village Council at their last meeting, they passed the second reading of an ordinance that would, or legislation nonetheless, that would raise utility rates by about 8% in the village. You're talking about water and sewer. Electric is AEP, I think.
Okay.
But you're talking about mainly water and sewer and some other services from water and sewer. The fees would go up to that. And it's just that, things are going up, and they had to do a rate increase, they felt, to be able to continue the same level of services. It will amount to 8%. It would go in effect on January 1st, 2023, provided that they pass it at their next meeting.
I was going to say that, so that has to be through a council.
Yes, but they did
ordinance
meet
or
with the
something.
Board of Public Affairs, which works with the utility. It's different people, but the village council is the one that has to enact it.
Okay.
And they had a meeting back at the end of October where they invited the public to come and weigh in on that. But they knew that they had to do some type of increase. They wanted to keep it as small as they could. They have people with limited income, senior citizens there in the village, so they were very sensitive to that. When they feel the 8% is the best that they can do. I'm not sure the last time that they had an increase, but they did point out, they didn't throw out the figures necessarily to show this in detail, but they feel their rates are still at or below other communities in our area for water and sewer service. So that is going on in the village of Oak Hill. All right, on the business beat here in Jackson, in the Classic Plaza off on Huron Street, 402 East Huron Street, there's been a business, you probably have heard of it, Downtown Jackson Nutrition. It's right next to Witt's Frozen Custard. It's been there for several years, but now we have new ownership there.
Oh.
And they made some changes. That is what it looks like inside a Downtown Jackson Nutrition. But last Saturday, they had a ribbon cutting there involving the mayor. That's Mayor Randy Evans, second from the right there. And then the Jackson Area Chamber of Commerce. You have there on the far left, probably recognize one of the executive directors for the chamber, Brian Leach. And then the new owners are Becca and Nick Walsh, a husband-wife team.
Okay.
And Becca has had some health issues in the past, so she was interested in nutrition and fitness.
Yep.
And some of her own research that she has come up with, she has used that in making the changes in Downtown Jackson Nutrition.
Okay.
But they very much invite the public to come out, new ownership, and they made, as I said, some changes there. But they have They have all sorts of things that they sell, you know, the health shakes and the health drinks and all like that, some of the health foods that they feel is an important component of healthy living.
Yeah.
There's more to it than that. There is, you know, the physical fitness part of it too. You have to do that yourself, but this is the nutrition part.
Yes.
The special foods or whatever that more and more people are into
Yes.
to be as healthy as they possibly
That's
can.
right.
So
Fuel your body.
that story, Jennifer, is online, by the way, at the telegramnews.com. It was also featured in our Saturday paper. Our editorial assistant, Alex Shope, went out there, covered that in person, and has a really nice detailed story on that.
Okay.
So good luck to Nick and Becca Walsh on owning that business. At the last Wellston School Board meeting, Loretta Clarkson came and she made an impassioned pitch to the school board, and it was about football. Remember, it was kind of a tumultuous situation for the Wellston football program.
It was
this
a pretty
past
rough
season.
year.
I mean, you had a new coach hired early in the year. He ended up resigning from the position when he didn't get the teaching position he thought he could get. I'm not sure he was angry about it, but he
just didn't work
he
out.
just felt it wasn't going to be a good fit for him.
Yeah.
They hired another coach named Carl Justice, and there were some controversy there apparently. He ended up resigning after the first football game.
Yes.
And they hired a man, Dan Polson, who has been an assistant coach. He became I think he was offensive coordinator under Coach Justice. He became the interim head coach for the remainder of the season.
It was just a
And so it was already a rebuilding situation. They didn't have as many boys out for the team as they've had. And then, of course, you know, the situation, unstable situation with the coaching situation, all the change and so forth, who's in charge. It was just everything coming together that was not good.
Yep.
Well, Loretta Clarkson has a son, Josh Clarkson, excuse me, who is an underclassman in the football program.
Okay.
And she spoke on his behalf and for the football program in general, urging the Wellston School Board to whoever they're going to hire as football coach to do it as soon as possible because of all the off-season work.
That's the thing. It's a year-round situation.
Right. She feels that the new head coach ought to be in position by January the 1st. And excuse me, she feels that that this is necessary. She also wants the coaching staff, whoever they may be, to work more with the younger groups, the younger kids, the Pee Wee programs, to have more of a coordinated situation through that. This is part of what successful
Sure.
programs are. I think she made examples of the Nelsonville York program that she has some familiarity with. And so board president Terry Gill has been there a while, and he is an ex-basketball coach, grew up in Wellston. Thank you very much, Dylan.
So you bring him cupcakes, he brings you water.
Right, I need the water more than the cupcake right now.
Thanks, Dylan.
But Terry Gill said that, you know, the whole situation with the football coaching, all the turmoil, all the changes, you know, the team did end up going 0-10 during the year, which was almost predictable. It was a rebuilding situation anyway. Let's just say that. But
they just didn't have a chance, I feel like.
He said it was very difficult for him, talked about not getting sleep on some nights over the whole thing. He said the board's goal is definitely to hire a new football coach as soon as possible. But the corollary with that, of course, is you want to hire the best person possible. So my guess is they're now looking for a new football coach right now.
Okay.
And with the idea of hiring one, you know, by the first of the year.
Okay.
All right. We also want to give credit to an ad hoc committee in MacArthur for getting new Christmas lights for the downtown area. It was determined, you know, back earlier in the year that this was needed. An ad hoc committee got together. I think it had the support of the village, but there was community people on it as well. I think those lights are probably up now, but their successful fund drive was completed earlier in the year. The lights, the cost of the new LED lights and updated poles was estimated at $30,000.
Whoa.
So I mean, it's not cheap. It's not
That's
like
a
going
lot.
out. It's not like going out to replace the lights on your Christmas tree. But it's modern. I'm sure it looks great, and they're shining brightly, and they'll be shining brightly this Saturday when the downtown Christmas has its celebration in MacArthur.
That's so good.
But there were 39 poles that needed decoration. 10 of them ended up being sponsored by Vinton County Bank. They were a major donor there to help make that happen. And people who were on the committee, MacArthur Village Councilman David Gill, he's been a prominent person in his family in MacArthur. He was kind of the leader of that ad hoc committee. Juanita McNichol, who is the the village council president, she was on it. Bill Garrett, who owned the funeral home for many years, he was on that. Deanna Tribe, MacArthur area resident Gail Young, and at the beginning, former village clerk Janie Fannin was on. Of course, Janie, we lost Janie suddenly. She died there last August, but she was on that committee helping getting it off the ground as well. So congratulations to that committee for what they've done. And the evidence is right there shining once it gets dark in MacArthur every night. And those things, once again, just don't happen. It isn't usually the village or the city government that does it.
Sure.
Because it's not supposed
That's
to be
not
something.
their bag, you know?
Right. Yeah, we've seen how that happens. It is community people and organizations that step up to do it. And I think that's the case in each of our local communities. You know, they may have the support of the city or the village, but, you know, it's everyday people, businesses, and organizations that make it happen. All right. I want to go a little bit to the on the Christmas stuff, if I could.
Sure. We got a lot going on this weekend, don't we, Pete?
We do. And I'm going to flip to my Christmas stuff. Okay. On Christmas, there will be major Christmas celebrations, shorthand version, in each of our local communities.
Yes.
Right. Jackson, Oak Hill, Wellston, and MacArthur.
Yep.
And just to give you the basics, in Jackson, you have a number of groups that's come together to make that happen. In addition to the city of Jackson, you have the Jackson County Gear Grinders that are going to do the parade. That's going to push off at 7:00 downtown. It'll go out to Manpower Park. You have Cultivating Our Future and Barbie McCatherine, who kind of manage activities out there, and of course the trees out there. I think there's going to be about 90 this year, more than there have been in the past.
A lot. Yeah, there's a lot. I saw them up. People decorating.
Right, and a bunch of volunteers stepped up to put the trees up, and they're probably being decorated almost as we speak.
Yep.
They'll be hopefully ready on Saturday, all ready to go. They'll have the lighting ceremony about 7:45 p.m. And then after the tree lighting ceremony, and Santa will, of course, be in the parade, and he'll be at the park for a while to meet the kiddies.
Santa will be
at
there.
8:00 or thereabouts, fireworks display.
That's right.
The Jackson Firefighters Association, as if they don't do enough just doing their regular job, they spearheaded the fund drive. So why do we have fireworks at Christmas? Well, remember in the COVID year, we couldn't have fireworks in July.
That's
and so
right.
they used the fireworks or the money to do it at Christmas instead. It went over so well.
People loved it.
Right. So now we have 2 fireworks displays in
Yes.
Jackson, 4th of July and Christmas. It'll be about a 15-minute display. Tourism money from the city of Jackson helped, but there were lots of private donations, large and small, that helped make that happen. But the Jackson Firefighters Association and the indefatigable Fire Chief David Channel made that happen. So that will be at about 8 p.m. In Wellston, of course, the Lions Club will be doing their parade that they've been doing forever. The famous Wellston Lions Club Santa Club float will be there. I believe that parade steps off at 1 p.m. Afternoon parade. But downtown, throughout town, mainly in the downtown area, the old downtown area there, Ohio Avenue, 2nd Street, 1st Street, down in there.
Yes.
Wellston Main Street, the businesses, organizations, there is a ton of activities going on. We had it all listed in the paper on last Saturday, so you can take a look at that. We have that online and on Facebook as well. But a whole lot of things going on downtown. I think the Grinch will make another appearance for the kiddies. But through the morning and the afternoon and with the parade, Wellston will be buzzing. This will be the biggest Main Street celebration. They call it Christmas
huge.
Treats on Wellston Streets.
Yes. And I was reading down through just like all of the events that are happening throughout the day in Wellston.
It's amazing.
I couldn't believe it.
It's amazing how everybody has jumped on board on that.
Yes.
I remember the remark that Charlie Hudson, the Wellston mayor, said the first year that they had that. Because, Wellston Main Street was founded to kind of try to revitalize the old downtown business
the downtown
district.
area.
Right, exactly, which, has withered, honestly, since its heyday in the earlier years or whatever. And the effort was to support business development down there
Yep.
and the landowners, and to make it look better and get new businesses in and support the businesses that are there. And he said after the first Wellston Treats on Christmas trees, this is the first time in many years that I've crossed a high avenue, and I had to look before I crossed because of all the traffic and people downtown.
That's so good.
Right, that was a great comment to show what that means for the downtown.
That's right.
So you need to check that out. There's lots of promotions and prizes and all like that.
You got it.
Participation type things. There's
Great day to
Christmas
spend in
rocks
downtown
to find
Boston.
and get a prize, and business decorating contests.
Go see the trees in the park. It's gorgeous.
Yes, of course, that's another part of it. That happened last Friday. The Ohilco Society lit their trees there in Pride Park, and of course they were shining every night through the Christmas season. 110 trees. That is the largest display that we have in the two counties. In Oak Hill, Christmas in the Village, the Oak Hill Historical Society, the Oak Hill Festival of Flags, the Village of Oak Hill, all involved in that. The Oak Hill Chamber of Commerce. There will be a parade to kick off the evening at 5:30, I believe. Then the focus will be in Central Memorial Park, where they will light the Christmas trees there. I think there's about 40 there that will be lit.
Cool.
Kind of in the oval there. Very nice. A ceremony, counting down like they did at Rockefeller Center to light them there. I know John Hensler will have an open house there at the residence there on Main Street. That'll be a nice side event. Santa Claus will be there to meet kids as well. Also that evening, I think it starts at 6 o'clock, the Madison Jefferson Fire Department will have their big Christmas auction where there will be new toys and new toys, knickknacks, the whole 9 yards. Most of the things, if not all, they sell are new. And
good Christmas gift ideas.
Exactly. They take that money and put it right back where it is needed in the community. They buy hams for the Oak Hill Food Pantry to give away for folks at Christmas, recipients, and then they do food baskets on their own. They develop a list of people who need that most in the Oak Hill area. Of course, they serve the Village of Oak Hill, Madison Township, and Jefferson Township. So all that down in Oak Hill. Then as we head north on the other end of State Route 93 in our local area, Christmas in downtown in MacArthur.
Yes.
Parade in the late afternoon. Santa Claus will be at the courthouse right after.
He's everywhere.
All sorts of business activity downtown, similar to what's going on with Wellston Main Street. But most of the businesses, I'm told, are participating. Melissa Hammond, who is the wife of the MacArthur mayor and the co-owner operator, along with her husband at the Hammond Hardware store in Hamden. She also is one of the coordinators. Cody Kempton is also another main organizer too. They have said that in addition to the parade, that a lot of the businesses will be open, doing special promotions, special things, special deals. I think you can go around and say that you visited so many businesses and be eligible for prizes. They do that kind of raffle as well.
Okay.
A new thing that they're going to have in MacArthur. Oh, and on the parade, the Benton County CVB and Caleb Appleman, who is the director of the CVB, and they're doing all that with Hotel MacArthur and the Park District. They are going to be honored as the grand marshals in the parade.
Cool.
I know Red Thompson Jr. will be up there to cover all that. And the new thing that's going on in Benton County, out at the fairgrounds on the north end of town, the Benton County Fair Board is having a Christmas tree display there. They took the cue from these other communities where it's been so popular. They didn't know how that would work. They advertised it in October, crossed their fingers, and by golly, they sold all the spots. I think 35 maybe.
Nice.
But they are supposed to be lit for the first time. Not sure there's going to be like a certain time where they turn them on, but starting December 3rd, which is this Saturday, those Christmas trees will be on display at night. You can go into the fairgrounds for free and see them.
Yes.
And of course at night too when they're decorated and lit. All right, so all that happening.
So much stuff this weekend.
Right. And this is not on Saturday, but it's tonight. We want to remind you once again, Lena's Tree Lighting in Colton.
Correct.
Mayor Kim Milliken, who we mentioned earlier in our other news story, she will be there. She's told us earlier in the week that Santa Claus will indeed be there as well.
What?
But Lena's Tree Lighting, there is a tree in back of the community building in the lot there that is in honor of the late Lena Humphreys. It was donated by her family. They like that every year. The village does. People are invited to bring ornaments and help decorate it. So I'm sure it'll be a beautiful tree as well. It will be lit tonight. And then everybody's invited to come into the community building. Santa will be there, and I think they're going to have some treats too.
Okay.
But that is this evening. I know Jeremiah Shaver will be there to report on that. All right. So those are all the Christmas things that are going on. We are going to be very busy on Saturday. Staff will be spread out. Staff will be spread out covering that. And, when we come back next week on TV, we'll maybe show you some of the pictures and videos and so forth.
Can't wait to see it because it's going to be hard to be at all of those celebrations. They're everywhere.
Well, I want to touch on sports real quick before we run out of time. On Tuesday, we had a boys basketball game between two county teams, Wellston and Oak Hill.
Holy moly.
Wellston won 64-60. Great game, but a sidebar story on that, and that's why I'm talking about it.
Insane.
Kyan Irvin, who is the son of Rob Irvin, who is an assistant basketball coach. There is Kyan right there. All he did in that game to help Wellston win, are you ready for this? 41 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block.
That's got to be some kind of record.
That is, I'm not sure anyone has done all that in a game. Now,
that is crazy.
It is tied for 4th on the highest point total in an individual game. By the way, the person who has the record is John Darrow. Who, of course, has the insurance agency over in Wellston. He did it back in 1981, scored 49 points. But I'm not sure that he did all these other things that Kyan did down there. But Kyan is over 1,000 points. He is 7th on the all-time scoring list, and he has a chance to move up very close to the lead before the season. Don't want to jinx him, but remember, the season is young, and he is a senior. By the way, he has already announced that he will be playing basketball next year at the University of Rio Grande.
Okay.
So local fans, area fans can see him in action next year. Obviously, Rio Grande already knew what his potential was. Also, we don't have a picture, but I want to mention that Vinton County went to Zane Trace the same night on Tuesday.
Okay.
Won very exciting by 3 points, and Cobra Sharp, a sophomore, made a 3-point shot just before the buzzer to win that for new coach N.J. Kite.
Nice.
As Zane Trace, very good basketball team, so Vinton County won on the Zane Trace court. And if you go to our Facebook page, Jennifer, of course, we have coverage on our website. Right? We'll have coverage in our paper Saturday because these things were Tuesday, too late for our Wednesday edition. But on our Facebook page, we have some video action of the game, including Cobra Sharp's winning 3-point shot.
Nice.
We also have interviews on our Facebook page of Kyan Irvin and another Wellston player talking about their big win down there, and also the two Vinton County players talking about their win over at Zane Trace. And it will continue. We will continue to cover boys and girls basketball all year long. Last night, by the way, the Jackson girls basketball team went to 3-0 on the season with a victory at Washington Courthouse.
These girls they're very, very good.
Exactly. There may be more news, but we've run out of time.
We have.
We've run out of time. I'm almost out of water.
That's right. And we have cupcakes to eat, right? If Dylan will share his cupcakes with us.
Okay. He's a pretty nice guy. He's a pretty nice guy.
All right. Well, Pete, thank you so much for stopping in this morning. Dylan, happy birthday. If you see Dylan out and about today, give him a little pinch and wish him happy birthday.
Okay. All right. Well, he deserves a good day. We put him to work, but he doesn't care.
He doesn't care. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll be right back here tomorrow with our friends from Wellston to talk about their celebration this weekend. So
all right.
See you then. Bye.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
TheTelegramNews.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Benton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, TheTelegramNews.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
TheTelegramNews.com.
Subscribe today at TheTelegramNews.com.
Check it out.